I woke up this morning, coffee in my hand, saw my furry little comrade making his stand. He's sitting by the window, eyes on the prize, demanding all the tuna, no compromise. He's got a manifesto written in his purse, says sharing is caring, that's for sure. My cat's a socialist, wants everything for free, no working for his kibble, he's living lavishly. From the couch to the kitchen, he's taking his share. In this kitty kingdom, everyone's got a chair. He doesn't fetch, he doesn't run, but expects the cream, says it's his fun. No chores, no tasks, just a smug little grin. In his Red Star collar, he knows he'll win. The revolution's purring in the middle of the night. Comrade Kitty rallies with all his might. My cat's a socialist, wants everything for free, no working for his kibble, he's living lavishly. From the couch to the kitchen, he's taking his share. In this kitty kingdom, everyone's got a chair. He's the leader of the litter, the ruler of the roost, in the land of the free, but he's got a boost. No labor, just lazing, that's his decree. Oh, my furry comrade, how can this be? Socialist wants everything for free, no working for his kibble, he's living lavishly. From the couch to the kitchen, he's taking his share. In this kitty kingdom, everyone's got a chair. So here's to the cat with his big red plan. Give him all the cuddles, that's a master plan. In the socialist kitty's world we see everything for free, and he's the VIP.
Oh, that was fun. That's my latest song, by the way. And as I've said before, any of these songs that I create, if anybody wants them to be able to use them on their videos or whatever, all you got to do is just send me an email. It's right here at the bottom of the screen, and ask me, hey, can I get a copy of that to put on my YouTube video? I'll send you a copy. I don't care who it is or whatever. I mean, I do it for fun. But if you want to use it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. All right. So I did ask for some people to join me tonight, Greg and Troy. I don't know if Troy's going to make it. He's doing something else right now. But if he finishes up in time, he will. I didn't hear back from Greg. And I also asked Gary Scoose if he'd like to come join. Ah, there's Greg right there. Look at that. Greg, you want to join in? All right, so everybody liked me starting out with different things and stuff. And I figured I'd start off this one with kind of like Mike did, the dog man. He was talking about how he was like doing all these different jobs and stuff all the time. And all right, I'll send the link. I'll put it right into here. All right, there's your link. So he was talking about all these different jobs and stuff he had and working his way up and things like that. But one of the first real jobs that I ever did was working at a place called the Little Italian Kitchen. Now, mind you, I loved my spaghetti. I really loved my spaghetti. And working there was awesome. I had spaghetti for dinner every night. And anytime my mom made spaghetti, I was like, anybody else ready for seconds? And they'd be like, no, we've all had enough. And I'm like, all right, cool. I use the rest of the pan. So, I was young and dumb back in them days. I ate a lot of spaghetti back in them days, like every day practically, even at home when my mom made it. And then I went from there and I worked at Kmart. I did security at Kmart, and then I went to maintenance at Kmart. And maintenance at Kmart was a joke. That was a night shift. We had bike races in the store. We did all kinds of stupid stuff. It was fun. And then they transferred me into the restaurant because they heard I had restaurant experience and they needed somebody with restaurant experience. So they transferred me to the restaurant. And it wasn't much after that they, hey, Troy made it too. Links in the comments, Troy. Let me start so it's right at the top. And so They opened this restaurant called the Golden Skillet. It was based on Perkins, because at the time we didn't have Perkins in our area. The closest one was in Olean, New York, actually. And the guy that owned it, the restaurant that I worked for, came from Olean to open up his own and kind of duplicate everything they did on the menu. I worked for him for a very long time. I didn't work for Kmart very long. Actually, Kmart restaurant was a joke. I didn't really care for the job. I did like the manager of the restaurant. Her name was Wanda. Her and I were really good friends for the longest time. Hi, Arlene. And so I worked at the Golden Skillet for a very long time. And then when I got out from working at the Skillet, I went to work for a place called the Donut Box. And the Donut Box was a cool place. I was the delivery guy in the morning and the cook and the cook up till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon when we shut down and then cleaned the kitchen. And then the donut makers would come in at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and make donuts all night long. And then I'd go back at 4 o'clock in the morning, pick up donuts and do the deliveries, and then go back and open the restaurant up. That was a good job. I actually enjoyed that one. And doing that one, I got hooked up with a guy named Ray Oliver Sr., who was doing lawn care. And he needed somebody to take over for him in the fall and in the winter for raking leaves and stuff because he was going to be in Florida. So I told him, yeah, I'll take that on. I'm not afraid of it. You know, I got from 2 o'clock in the afternoon on, I'm good. So I took it on. And it turned into Moffitt's Maintenance and Lawn Care. And at the peak, we were doing 175 lawns a week. No offense to you, Greg, but I found a truck driver that wanted to buy the business, so I introduced him to all my customers. I had him mowing lawns with me. And he had no credit. He had a brand new truck. He lived in his own house, but he had no credit because he never needed credit. He always did everything with cash. So the bank wouldn't loan him the money. Well, because I already introduced him to all the customers and stuff, and at that point we also weeded out some of the lower end ones. It was like, okay, well, I was ready to give this business up. I'm not ready to keep doing it anymore. So I filed bankruptcy. And wasn't much after that, I went into the military. And then when I got out of the military, I was like, wait, no, that's not true. I was in the military before I started the whole business up. We raked the leaves in the fall, and then I went into the military. I did my basic and AIT at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I saved up every dime that I made. The only money I was spending was money for storage for my vehicles. And I was sending that to my parents every month, and they were just writing the checks and sending it to the guy. And so when I got out of the military, full-time part, the basic and AIT, I went into the reserves. So that was every Wednesday night. And I ended up starting to hire people because, after the fall part of the year got done, we were getting into the snow shoveling season. And I hired a bunch of people to go around and shovel sidewalks and driveways and stuff. There was actually a lot of people that didn't want their driveway plowed for numerous reasons, but you could go in and you could shovel it, and they were happy with that. And Tony Greco was one of my best ones. He owned the Cortland Overhead Door Company. And I also did work for Bud Ames, who owned Ames Linen Service, and a couple others that were really good. But we expanded, and we expanded hard. I had friends down in Binghamton. Their lawnmower took the crap, and they wanted me to mow their lawn. I told them I can do it. On the weekends, I'll come down to Binghamton. I'll mow your lawn. And by the time we got done, we had probably 40 lawns just in Binghamton alone that we were, hey, they're shorthanded, Homestead. How you doing, Alvin, Donnie? And so I did that it was about 5 years, and I got bored with it. And I thought I had to buy her, so I bought away from that. And I went back to Golden Skillet for a while. Worked for that guy for quite a while, actually. He opened up a second restaurant called the Skillet Junior, and he put me as one of the managers of it. But the problem was it was a what do they call that? It was a salaried position. And there was another guy that was supposed to be the other manager. He was supposed to go in and open the restaurant, and I was supposed to go in and close the restaurant. Well, every time he called in sick, I had to go in and open the restaurant and stay till close the restaurant. He still got his pay because it was salaried, and I wasn't getting his pay. And I got tired of it, and I told him, I says, I'm not doing it anymore, Bo. Sorry. So I left there, and I went to work for a place called Gary's Riverside Diner. That place was busy all the time, and I made a lot of money. I went in as a prep cook, and I worked 14 and a half hours a day. So I couldn't pay my rent because where I had to pay my rent wasn't open. They were only open 9 to 5, and I went to work at I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And I never got out of work until 7:30, 8 o'clock, sometimes not till 11 o'clock at night. So it was, most of the time it wasn't until about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night or even later. But I did that for a while, and I told him, I says, look, I'm getting burnt out. You guys got to get somebody else in here to take part of this job up. And they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. And so I left. You're burning me out. I can't be here anymore. I can't pay my bills on time. I can't do this. I can't do that. I left. And I reached out to a group called JTPA. It was a job training program assistance, or if I got a job somewhere where I didn't know what was going on, they would pay me to go do it, to learn it. So I went to work for ETL, which is the same thing as UL. When you look at every extension cord or appliance, on the back of it or on the label on it or whatever, it always says, tested by UL laboratories or tested by ETL laboratories and whatnot. And I tested the air conditioning and heat pump unit. I was in the heat pump facility part of it. And I did that for a pretty good stint. I wasn't there very long, but I was there for a pretty good stint. And there were some people in there that had been there for a very long time, like 11, 12 years, and their retirement was nothing. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to keep doing this. And my mom was working at a company called Nature and Products. Greg knows of. And she was a secretary. And I used to go there on my time off from mowing lawns and whatnot and pick her up and take her out to lunch when I could. And then working at ETL, I couldn't do it anymore. But she told me, she says, hey, these guys are really looking for some help. And I was like, oh, that's good. But I wasn't really interested in it. I didn't want to work in a factory. I enjoyed being outdoors when I could. And I had the owner's phone number for Nature and Products, Bob Kemp. And I called him at home one night. It was about 9 o'clock at night. I called him at home and I said, hey, I hear you're still looking for help. You're having trouble. What position are you looking for? And he says, well, I'm looking for somebody I can train to be a supervisor for third shift because right now we only have 2. It takes 8 hours to start the plant, and it takes 8 hours to shut the plant down, so we're only getting 8 hours of production out of the place. Out of a 16-hour day. Or 4 hours start, 4 hours shut down. And I was like, okay. He says, well, we don't want to shut down anymore unless we have to do maintenance. And I said, all right, I'm interested. And I went there and I did an interview with him in the morning and stuff. And he says, well, don't you need to give these guys a 2-week notice? And I says, I don't know. Do I need to use them on my resume? And he's like, well, not really. I was like, good, because I don't want to give them a 2-week notice. I don't want to be there for 2 more weeks. And he's like, well, why the hell do you want to leave there? And I was like, because they're a bunch of engineers and they're stupid. And he looked at me and he started laughing. He says, you do know I'm an engineer, right? And I says, yeah, but not all engineers are stupid. And so I went to work for him. I was there for 31 and a half years. I was just starting my 32nd year when I got pulled off the loading dock by a truck and shattered my left heel. So I'd still be there today if that didn't happen. They had to let me go because I was out of work for over 2 years. I mean, it wasn't just bad enough I shattered my heel, but I also got a really bad infection from the titanium that they used to repair my heel. Turns out I'm allergic to titanium. Who knew? I didn't. I didn't know that there was like a $15 test you could use to find out that you are, and they never use it. But anyway, so that's where we got to be where I'm at today. Now I'm working for Walmart Spark. Long roundabout way about going about it. Greg, are you ready to join in? Nod your head. All right, we got Greg coming on stage.
Hey, everybody.
Let's call it a day for right now. And
yeah, I know that company you got pulled off the dock by.
Yeah, cooperative feed distributors.
Yeah. I know somebody who worked there.
Actually, the guy that pulled me off the dock is no longer a truck driver.
No, he works in a warehouse.
Yeah, he still works in the warehouse. He's a good guy. I mean, they wanted to go after the company. What they should have done for the lawyers, they should have gone after my company. My company would have paid it. You know what I'm saying? But because they went after them, that company don't want to pay nothing. They hired their own lawyers and everything, and they fought it, and they fought it, and they fought it. And here I am today going, okay, well, I didn't get nothing out of that deal other than a shattered deal and have a funny walk.
Yeah, they didn't even want to. They still have me listed as an employee.
Really?
And I haven't been working since August 12th.
Yeah. Well, it might be it. Maybe they're getting government kickbacks for the number of employees they have.
I don't know, maybe.
Got to take up for all the Mexicans being pulled off the road.
No, I saw one of the drivers, Clarence. I don't know if you knew him.
I knew a lot of them, but I didn't know them all by name. I mean, they were there all the time. Hi, Charlene.
Hey, Charlene. Yeah, I saw Clarence a couple weeks ago, and he's like, him and a couple of the guys that's been drivers for a while are ready to leave. I mean,
wasn't Clarence one of the older ones that came back in out of retirement?
No.
No.
Uh-uh.
I know there was one that retired and they were having trouble finding drivers, so they brought him back from retirement. But they gave him a raise or something to get him back out of retirement. I don't remember what his name was though.
Well, I originally started there in 2017. Then we left in 19 and went to Florida and Tennessee. And then we came back in 22 and they hired me back. I don't even have a CDL no more. I let it go. As of January 1st, my license is just downgraded.
Well, isn't that medical related as well because of something? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because of the gabapentin.
Yep. Which is ironic because that one's not like a hallucinogenic or something you can get addicted to.
No, but they on the federal's website it doesn't disqualify you. On the state's website it does, because it's a medicine that they originally give for seizures, but now they give it for nerve pain.
Right.
So
they had me on that for a while. Very familiar with it.
I take 2 a day, 2 a night. Matter of fact, I just took my medicine. I take 8 pills now.
Wow. I'll tell you, my dad, as he was getting older, and they were living in Florida during the winter times and coming up here for the summers. He said the worst thing you want to do is ever ask somebody when you're down there, hey, do you have to take that little tiny blue pill?
No.
You'll be on a conversation for hours. I take the blue one, I take the pink one, I got this orange one I have to do. Most of them are white.
I do have a blue one, but it's not that what you're thinking.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not Viagra either, right?
No, it's Zoloft.
Okay.
So it's sertraline. It's generic for Zoloft. But
the only ones I take anymore are ibuprofen. Aleve because of arthritis when needed, and then I've also got this other one. It's like a Prilosec.
Go ahead and take
for
it. Go ahead and get this rock put in that.
acid and indigestion or whatever.
yeah,
It's not that brand. I buy the Equate brand of it's equal to it.
All right. So
yeah, they just I take that for my back. My orthopedic doctor just gave me some another medicine for my knees, and they give me some rubbing cream for the arthritis.
Right.
So anytime they act up, I gotta rub that on it. But the pill I take every day. I'm watching Gary's latest video.
I wish I had a way to get something for arthritis. 'Cause boy, I'll tell you, there's times my hands lock right up and I can't do nothing. That's why I get one of the reasons why I quit playing guitar. The other one was because of my stitched finger, but
Yeah.
most of it was just because of that. I mean, there are things out there that I can buy that take it away, but I don't want to be high all the time.
Yep. Yeah. They show that I have one allergy. Any medicine that makes my heart race. I don't like my heart racing because of my anxiety.
Well, heart racing isn't good for you anyway.
No.
I know a lot of people that have dealt with that, and it's one of them things where if you got to like walk away from something because you're getting excited about it,
Yeah.
too much, just walk away, find a quiet place, and just sit down and relax for a little while or whatever.
Well, I had a stress-induced anxiety attack in 2004 when I lived down in the Keys. And I mean, I lost complete feeling in the left side of my body.
Wow.
And they told me, I mean, my whole left side of my body was numb. And I went to the emergency room and they told me it was a stress-induced anxiety attack. Because I mean, I worked for Marriott down in Key Largo. And before I took over the engineering department, the maintenance department, I was working 100 hours a week.
Wow. That's too much.
Yeah. But
like I say with Gary's Riverside, you know, you get burnt out quick by doing that stuff.
Yep. So now I don't even have the desire to want to drive a truck ever again.
Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. People don't know how to drive anymore, for one.
Yeah. I mean, would I ever own one? I can't say I wouldn't own one, but I just would never drive again.
Right.
You know.
I actually have some friends that own a farm. And the farm isn't really a big farm or anything. I mean, it's pretty good size. Yeah. But they started their own trucking company. And all of their kids worked for them as truck drivers or mechanics. The dad was a truck driver. There's 3 boys. I don't remember all their names, but there's Lloyd and there's another one, Andy, and then a brother. They all drive. And then I hired another guy who's a little short guy. I don't remember his name. But he was also doing some of the driving for him, but his main job was to stay at the shop and do most of the mechanic work and ordering parts and whatnot.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, they'd put him behind the wheel to make up for the extra. And they were doing a lot of those, like for Cornell University, every year they do, I think it's 16 or 17 tractor loads of just dump trailer loads of wood shavings and stuff to put around all the trees and landscape and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I actually hired them to take me up to the other side of Syracuse and get a whole tractor trailer load full of that okra compost.
Oh yeah,
they got a huge compost plant up there where they can create compost really, really quick. And they get all the groceries from all the stores that are left over and they compost it. And it was pretty cheap by the truckload. I mean, it was expensive for the truck, but it was cheap by the truckload. And I think I paid almost $850 or something like that for a truckload delivered.
That's not bad.
Yeah, well, the only way they do it is if I rode with them to pay for it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll go. Well, we started at 4 a.m. I didn't get home till about. Well, I got back to the house when we emptied the truck at like 2:00 in the afternoon. But I couldn't have him take me back to where my car was until I think I got home at like 4:00 that night because we had to go back. We had to go back to Paul Bunyan and load up a whole nother load of those shavings, and then he could drop me off at the yard after we delivered them to Ithaca. I was like, all right, whatever. I guess I'm with you for the day. He's like, well, anytime you want to go for a ride, and I was like, dude, man, I don't mind riding in the truck and all that, but some of the rules I need with these guys, especially when I smoke. When you're at Paul Bunyan, it takes them a long time to load up. you got to walk out of their yard and stand on the other side of the road to light up a cigarette.
Yep.
And it was all right. I didn't mind it. I mean, I'm pretty good about, respecting people's property and whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, everything that was so flammable, if they caught you smoking in the yard, you'd never be allowed back on it again.
Yep.
And I was like, well,
That's
if I stood on the other side of the truck, your fender's a really big ashtray.
That's like the ports when I drove over the road. The port in Jacksonville, Florida. You couldn't have any passengers in your cab.
Really?
Either you paid $150 escort fee, or else they had to wait out by the road.
Really?
So when Gina and Mushu was with me, they had to wait out by the road while I got loaded.
Wow.
It was terrible, man. I understand why they do that, but
in a way.
Yeah, but come on. My wife and my dog, what are they afraid my dog's gonna bite them? Yeah,
right.
He don't have any teeth. He's like gonna be 15 years old.
Dog's gonna get out and chew one of them safety tags off the back of the
yeah. But I mean, they even took your keys. You couldn't sit in the truck. You had to go sit in this hot, stinky room, and
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So they drove your truck over, loaded it, and then drove it back to you?
No, you backed into the dock.
Okay.
And then when you went inside, you had to give them your keys. And they put them in their office on a clipboard to whatever door you were in.
All right.
And you had to stay in there.
See, Natrium changed their way about it. Now, according to Bob, of course, they sold to a different company anyway, but according to Bob, after my accident, what they did is the drivers of the trucks were never allowed to get out of the truck.
Right.
As they backed up to the dock, they could get out and open up the doors, but the minute they were backed up to that dock, they were not allowed to get out of their truck. If they wanted to use the bathroom, they couldn't.
Nope.
Nope. Because that means you're not in your truck. They had to be in the truck. And they couldn't pull off the loading dock until we handed them the paperwork, and we had to put the shock under the wheel when they backed up, and we had to take the shock out of the wheel when they pulled out. Because that's how I got pulled off by Dave. Was I handed him the paperwork, he went down, pulled the shock, not knowing that we were still putting the pellet jack back onto his truck. So I can understand the reason for some changes.
Yeah.
It's like Walmart. Walmart has this really weird thing going on. As a Spark driver, I'm there shopping for other people, right?
Yep.
I went through day before yesterday. I had 15 items in the cart, and it said, "Oh, you're held for review." All right, cool. An employee from the store has to come over and scan 3 items out of the cart randomly, and then as long as those 3 items are in the order, you're good to go. I understand why they do it. Theft is a bad problem. But I went through there today. I had an order that had 63 items. The cart was totally filled, and I'm like, yeah, they're going to want to review this one. So I didn't package any groceries up or anything until I got all the way up to the register and let them scan the barcode on my phone. And it's like, okay, you're good to go. I was like, no, I'm not. Now I got to bag all this shit up. that order filled that cart so bad that it filled the whole trunk of my car.
Yep. Yeah.
And then when I delivered it, it started downpouring as I opened my trunk. And I'm like, this is not good. I had to walk through a path between 2 houses on a sidewalk. Water was coming down off both roofs and crossing over my head and just dumping on both sides of me. I got totally drenched. I was wearing sneakers, so my feet got totally soaked. And I'm like, yep, this is the last one I'm doing today. I'm not doing any more. It was probably 9 trips to the car to the house.
Wow.
And you couldn't park anywhere near the door. That was the bad part about it, I was like, why can't I just park right here and unload it here? Your door is right here. No, you got to park on the street. Because if you want, you can drive back. You can back up onto the sidewalk and get your car closer. And I was like, you say that, but the cops disagree with you.
Yeah.
If I park on the sidewalk, you don't think I'm going to get a parking ticket like right away? Especially, I mean, here in Cortland, they're strict on that stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you got a driveway in your front yard, you're not allowed to park on your front yard.
On Gary's video, it shows the Bertha covered in snow. Did they get snow down there?
I don't know. I didn't see Gary's video yet. Maybe. I don't know. I was just watching Coffee with the Crockers today, where they were sitting in lawn chairs and short sleeves out in Oklahoma. I don't know if they got snow. I know they're supposed to be getting it, but I would imagine Oklahoma and Arkansas both would get hit at the same time if they get a storm down there.
His backhoe is a Deere, right? John Deere?
Yep.
Yeah. It's showing snow, but a lot of snow.
Wow.
I don't know.
I haven't heard anything from anybody else, so I don't know. I mean, Gary and Melanie normally would have a video out if there was snow on the ground. I haven't seen anything from them.
Mike, I have Mike's video. I got notification that it's up. Mike Alyssa.
Oh, his plumbing fiasco?
Poor guy. I can't laugh because, I'm not a plumber, but we're I can do plumbing.
I can do it. But what I told him when he drilled that hole and it was right beside the stud? I told him I would have taken a sheetrock piece off the backside of that wall. I would have cut the stud, spliced the piece in on the backside so your shower head still has room to go through.
Yeah.
And be plumbed in. And then put the sheetrock back up and deal with taping the sheetrock up rather than having two holes side by side inside the shower.
All you gotta do, you know what you could do? Just go find one of those end caps that
I was thinking that too. Yep.
And just put it in there and glue the back of it.
Go buy one of them roll around closet things that has the caps on the end of the pipe.
Yeah. Trim it down to fit just where you need it and put it in there and glue the back of it.
I thought about the caps. Actually, the actual thing I was thinking about with caps was the first thought in my mind, because I worked at Nature and was every pipe we bought that was threaded came with that orange cap on the end of the pipe.
Oh yeah, yep.
Just take one of those, take it outside, scruff it up with some sandpaper, paint it white, and just caulk it onto the wall with some silicone, and that would probably hold it there. Because silicone's a really good adhesive.
Yeah. No, it wasn't snow. It was just a picture of when they got all that snow last year.
Okay. I didn't think they had any. Not after watching the Crockers sitting outside drinking their coffee in T-shirts.
We don't have much left down here.
Well, I'll tell you what. The last 3 days have been awesome. And then next week, Tuesday and Wednesday are supposed to be really nice again. I told Leah, I says, I can guarantee you right now, I'm going to work Tuesday and Wednesday. There's no doubt in my mind about it. I don't know when I'm going to start. I don't know when I'm going to stop. But I am going to work Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I got a truck payment coming up, so I got to get that taken care of.
Snow on the ground. Look at that snow. We have a white January. Just kidding. This is
this is one of
the last videos that we're going to do.
When he was talking about it on the, I think it was Dreaming with Drifters or the talking thing.
Yeah, Dreaming with Drifters.
Yeah, I'm saying to the TV like he can hear me. Mike, just get one of those little white caps and put in there.
Right.
You'll never even know.
And I actually believe you can buy those caps.
You can.
They're like Lowe's or Home Depot or someplace. They got to sell them.
Yeah.
You got to sell them. I mean, they make the caps for the end of your electrical box. If you poke a hole out, that needs to be covered back up because you're not using it. They make caps to go into that. So they got to make something that would work.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it was one of them caps for an electrical box.
Yeah. And you just.
What is it, a half inch? A little bigger than a half-inch hole. Go buy a 3/4 inch cap and glue it into place or whatever,
Right. Dude, I started watching another channel of It's two ladies. I think by now they're married, but you know,
Van Lives?
huh?
Van Lives?
Yes, band
Yep.
wives.
Yep. Yep.
I started watching them. They are funny.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Oh man.
I've watched them for quite a while. I haven't seen them lately because, you know, my interests have kind of changed a little bit more. I don't watch as many YouTube videos as I used to because I'm more interested in some of these newer ones. But yeah, I mean, I watched that show. God, back when they first got the property and set up a teepee to live in, and now they just bought like a house or something they're working on or whatnot.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that one, but I seen it pop in my feed, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but I'm not gonna watch it, but that's okay.
Did
Yeah,
you see?
I watched it when they were outside skinny, or not skinny dipping, but damn near skinny. They had the bikinis on out there dipping in the water when there was ice on the pond.
Yeah, ice cold. I'm like, even Gina gets into it, and we're just laughing because I would never do that.
No, well, we actually have a group right here local to us. They're in Lake Ithaca, I believe. It's called the Polar Bear Club. My old dentist was part of that Polar Bear Club.
Yeah.
And when he was getting ready to do a whole bunch of removals of my teeth and stuff because I was having a lot of problems, he said to me, he says, "Do you trust me?" And I looked at him, I says, "I watched your video. If you can sit in that cold ass water and not shiver, you can handle my teeth with no problem at all." I don't remember what his name was. He's passed away and gone by now, but yeah, he was part of that Polar Bear Club, and they actually shared a video with him in the water, and he just sat there like it was a hot tub, and I'm like, how the hell can you do that?
But they say once your body, once it's the initial dip,
Initial shock.
that's when you're going, you know, your body reacts to it, and
Right.
but they
Well,
say it's good for your skin too.
Well, they also say that the water is warmer than the air,
Yeah.
and I can probably agree with that because, you know, I mean, if you look at your well temperature, it's always one temperature of water coming out of your well. No matter how deep your well is, it's always that same temperature. And it's always warmer than the air during the wintertime. That's why we bury our water lines. So I can understand that part.
Yeah.
I just can't understand how anybody would want to get into maybe like a 38-degree water. They call it comfortable. I mean, for me, I'd rather be in the hot tub. You know?
Yeah.
That to me would be comfortable.
But you can't be. They say don't be in a hot tub too long because it's bad for your body.
Yeah, they actually have timers on them now at the hotels.
Yep.
I think it's like a 15-minute timer or something like that.
Yeah.
We went to a hotel down in Pennsylvania where they do the reenactments and stuff. Gettysburg.
Oh yeah, Gettysburg. Yeah.
Yep. We went to a high-star hotel down there, and they were just getting done with the reenactment weekend, so it was like really cool. We pulled in the day that they were pulling out, and I went up to the desk and I said to the guy, "So, well, what do you get for a room for the night?" Because my GPS sent me on the wrong route. We were coming back from Maryland. I had stopped in Maryland to get another pack of cigarettes out of the trunk of the car, and then when we got back on the highway, it sent me across state rather than sending me upstate.
Oh.
And so we ended up in Gettysburg. So I went in. I said, "What's it going to cost me for a motel room for the night?" And he says, "It's $199. When I looked at him, I says, "Where's the Motel 6? And he's like, "Oh, wait." He says, "Are you a member of this group here?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." I'm not. But I said, "Yeah, I am." He says, "Oh, well, your rate tonight's $99. I said, "All right, for $99, I'll stay." Well, they had a really big swimming pool. And then beside that, they had the hot tub. So we went over and we got in the hot tub. And the timer went off, and I'm like, "All right, well, we're done with the hot tub for now. You know, you're supposed to be 15 minutes in, 15 minutes out, or whatever." I got out of that hot tub and I jumped into that swimming pool. Oh my God, what a difference in temperature. It was almost like I got thermophobia from it or whatever. It was terrible. I come up out of there and I was like, "How much longer we got before you're up the hot tub again? Because I can't do that. This is holy shit." I mean, when I dove into that pool, it was ice cold because of being in the hot tub, but which is probably, I don't know, what do they keep them, 90, 95 degrees, 100 degrees, something like that.
120 usually. That's the max. That's a commercial one is supposed to be 120.
Well, that's what I told Mike with that hot water heater. I'm amazed it looks as good as it does, to be honest with you. I never looked at it. I bought it at auction. It was in a box. I never opened the box. It's a really pretty water heater. Yeah, I should have gone in the pool first, Arlene. I could have got warmed up in a hot tub. I probably wouldn't have been hot jumping into the cold is the big thing about that. If I'd have just gone in and jumped in the pool, it would have been great. But I was already super hot. So now I'm jumping into a cool pool. I told Mike, I said, you know, if I'd realized that hot water heater was that pretty, I might have had second thoughts about giving it to you. just joking around. And he's like, yeah, whatever, you know. It's like I told him, your house was closer to being done than my shop is. I bought that water heater for my shop. I was going to put a washout sink out there. And because he was already getting to the point, I mean, when we were there, his house was being delivered. The second shed. So I was like, well, I'm glad I gave it to you now because I'm not even deciding where I'm going to be with my shop yet.
Right.
And they've already got this going on. So
let's go ahead and grab a paddle bit.
Yeah.
Have your tools together, Michael. All right.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny. I get a lot of people that comment on our live chats that never watch a live chat, but they'll go back and watch it later.
Yeah.
And then they comment on it. It's like, why did you wait so long to comment? Well, I don't want to. I'm never available when you guys go live. Well, I'm sorry that you aren't, but why? You know. What's going on in your life during that time of the day?
Yeah, I mean it's 6:39 there. Usually we go an hour, 2 hours.
I try to keep it about an hour, but sometimes Troy just doesn't shut up. I actually, when I first started doing this, I was like, I'm going to do a half an hour, and at the end of the half an hour, I'm done because I don't know enough to talk about, you know?
Right.
But the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah.
And the more you can think of, well, there's more stuff I need to talk about, you know? Or I want to talk about, I should say.
Yeah, did you go live last week?
Yes. Yes.
He just said a big shout out to David Moffat for the Ryobi tool.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. When I bought mine, it was because I had the Clear Leaf Company or whatever it was, the water people. I had them here testing my water, and they came in and put this new water system down in my basement for like it's a not really a water softener, but it does use salt. But it also has this big carbon tank and whatever to take the nasty stuff out of the water for the whole house. And when he was doing that, I went downstairs to talk to him, and I seen that sitting on the side, and I'm like, "What's this?" And he says, "Oh, that's my new crimper." And how's it work? He says, "I don't know. I haven't used it yet." I fired up my cameras and I stayed down there watching him do the work. And I was like, that is too cool. Where did you get it and how much did it cost? And he says, well, I already had the batteries and I went to Home Depot and I got it for $75. And I was like, all right, cool. So I came upstairs, I got on to homedepot.com and I says, send me that tool. I've already got the batteries too, you know, I'm just buying the bare tool. But then when I went to buy it for Mike, because I didn't have a battery charger and batteries and everything for him to take it with him, that was like $250.
I was going to say.
Plus they charged me for the shipping, which for me, they didn't charge me shipping, but they charged shipping on his because it was a different state. I ordered it out of Ithaca. And so they did. I was like, I don't know, $20 shipping a handler or something, but it ended up being like $250. Now I don't care. It's still worth it.
Yeah.
And with all the work that he had going on up there, and he hadn't done any of it yet, it made total sense. And the real cool thing about that tool is that if you got pipes that are directly like tight in a corner, where you got to get in there with them crimpers. Those crimpers start really wide, and then you got to go narrower until you get it crimped down. This thing, you just reach in and go, bzz, bzz. It's done.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I love it. I love it. I've used mine probably 50 times since I bought it.
Yeah, we're gonna do PEX downstairs. We were working on the bathroom today.
Well, when you get ready to do it, let me know. I'll bring the crimper over. That way you don't have to buy one.
All right. Well,
And the same crimper works for all size pipes.
yeah, we're gonna go from copper to PEX.
All right, when you do that, you're gonna want to use shark bite.
Yeah,
Shark bite will take it from copper to PEX.
yeah. My stepson, he's a plumber. He works for the Drain Brain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to buy my porta potties from them.
Yeah. He works for them. He's gonna, when we're ready to do all that, him and I are gonna do it. And we got the master bedroom done, and it's all right, carpet down and everything. And now tomorrow I'll probably work on the bathroom because we had to raise the toilet up 12 inches.
Wow.
Because we're using a emaciating pump, but we're using a residential toilet.
Okay. So you got help?
Yeah, we had to bring it up with the sweep 90 coming down, and then because the pump, the 3-inch inlet from the
toilet ring.
Yeah, is 6 inches off the floor.
Wow.
If it was closer to the bottom, but we got it. We took us most of the day to figure, everything out. My wife was down there helping me, and but we got it. We got it to where we got the pump sitting back there, and then I got to run wire for a GFCI and to plug it in. So, and
well,
then
if you got to do all that for your toilet, you should do like Trent and Ellie did.
Well,
put an extra outlet by the toilet so you can put in a heated toilet seat.
Oh, gee.
They actually did that, and when they plumbed out their bathroom and wired it out and stuff for this, they called it their heater or whatever. It's above the garage. When they did that, they didn't put any forethought into it, so the water line is on the wrong side of the toilet, and the outlet's on the wrong side of the toilet. And he's like, "Why didn't I think about this?" And I said, "Well, why didn't you buy the toilet before you started doing it?" He says, "No, because the toilet I wanted was special. And I wanted just this toilet for 2 reasons. One was the water usage. It's super low. It's like 1.2. Hey, KWM, how are we doing? It's like 1.2 gallons per flush. And the other reason was he wanted to do the heated toilet seat, but he didn't buy the heated toilet seat because he wanted to see, what the toilet looked like first to find out whether or not the toilet seat he was going to buy was going to fit the toilet." And I was like, "Yeah, but don't you realize almost everything that you do on the toilet is always off to the left-hand side of the toilet when you're looking at it?
Yeah.
I've never seen a toilet where the water is on the right-hand side of the toilet, but his is." And he had to buy this like really long hose to go all the way around to plug it in. And then when he bought the heated toilet seat, he had to put an extension cord onto it and then water seal the plug connection. I was like, yeah, I think I would have put a lot more thought into that before you did that. I mean, at least go to the plumbing store and look at the toilet and look at the toilet seat and say, okay, well, yeah, everything's on this side of the toilet, because the cord for the toilet seat's only about 1.5 feet long.
Wow.
His outlet was over 3 feet away.
Wait, wow.
Yeah, it was funny. I was like, okay, well, we can all screw up sometimes,
Yeah.
He's a good builder. He's done everything, and he's always passed every inspection he's had. But.
Yeah. Yeah. See that inside, you don't have to have a permit.
In Cortland, they say you do, And also in Cortland, they say it has to be done by a licensed plumber.
Really?
Yeah. But if you don't tell anybody you're doing it,
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to replace your own water heaters, there's no law saying you can't. But if you bring somebody else in, to help you do it, they're supposed to be licensed plumbers. My dad was actually City of Cortland plumbing inspector for a while.
Yeah.
And I laughed about it. He didn't graduate from high school. He never was a licensed plumber. But they put him in charge of the licensing for City of Cortland plumbers. And then they also put him in charge of code enforcement office for a while, because the code enforcement officer, his name was John Gee. He was a really tall dude. He had died, and they didn't have anybody for code enforcement. So they told my dad, well, you're a plumbing inspector, but you're not working that hard. So we're going to make you code enforcement officer too, and we're going to double your pay. And my dad's like, all right, great. Yeah, I'll do it. And
Yeah.
I think it was like a week after he took that agreement that we got a letter in the mail with a picture of his face in the newspaper, talking about how he was now the new code enforcement officer with a big red circle around it, a line drawn through it that said, "Watch you stones you step on, like House of Master." I went to Little Tiny Kitchen Owners because she's Italian, and I looked at her and I says, "Can you tell me what this says?" And she told me that, and I was like, "All right, who's La Casa Nostra?" And she says, "It's the ham with the black glove." I was like, "Well, what the hell's the ham with the black glove?" And she says, "It's the nastiest people in Italy you ever met." I was like, "But this is in Cortland." And she says, "Doesn't matter. If he uses La Casa Nostra, he's a member." And I went back home. I relayed that to my dad. My dad got a hold of his boss at City of Cortland. And he says, "I'm done. I'm not plumbing inspector anymore. I'm not a code enforcement officer anymore. I'm done. I just got a death threat handed to me." And it was all over some apartment building where they were supposed to have a steel I-beam down the middle in case of a fire on the first floor where the restaurant was.
Yeah.
That never got put into place, so we wouldn't give them the CO, certificate of occupancy.
Otherwise, this was washing the hand of the original guy.
Yep. Absolutely.
That happens all over the place.
Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, it does. I mean, I've been watching a lot of the stuff too with like ICE operations and whatnot. They had that one in Minneapolis where that lady got shot and killed. She literally hit that officer.
She did.
And then you had two more over in Portland, like the next frickin' day. And they were both members of Tren de Agua. She was like the head of the prostitution ring, and he was in charge of some other part of it. They both got shot. They didn't get killed, but they both got shot. And everybody's going, "Oh, wait a minute. We can't let ICE have guns." Yeah, you can. They're law enforcement. I don't want law enforcement not to have guns.
Well, that's what they want. They don't want.
They don't want law enforcement. They want social services workers are coming up there and saying, "Well, if you got a problem, we can work with you on it." Not in my watch. I don't care.
I look at it this way, and it sucks that somebody lost their life, but you're interfering with official business.
Yep.
What are you doing? Why?
And it comes around to what we always say: FAFO.
Yep.
I actually have a shirt that says that on. Not today. I got my HalfAss Homestead shirt on.
Oh, I have my reverb.
I'd make you a HalfAss Homestead shirt, but I don't know how much it would cost me to order a shirt that size.
What do you mean? I'm an extra small.
Extra small. Yeah, well, we've all seen you in pictures, Greg. Where Troy and I had to help hold you up.
I think my one arm is an extra small, maybe. I don't know. I could voice my opinion about all that stuff, but I try not to anymore, because then
you open up a window. You open a window where people don't agree.
Yeah. So I mean, and your opinion don't matter. you know, and that's the thing. And
Well,
like
as
I've
long-
seen people that I follow on YouTube and stuff like that post comments on Facebook, and I don't even reply to it.
I do it only because sometimes it makes sense. But in the same respect, if we didn't have to worry about all of those illegals being in our country, our vote would still count.
Yeah.
That deal with whatever his name is, Mamdani down there in New York. I'm laughing about that.
He's an
He
idiot.
got sworn in 3 days later. The transit buses went up. I'm going to give it to you for free. No, you didn't do nothing, dude. You didn't do nothing. You don't even have a say in that.
That guy's an idiot.
He is. He's dumber than a box of rocks, man. Well, I'm gonna tax the richest 2%. Yeah, no, you're not, because that's a state thing. That's not your thing. But the better part about that whole argument is that if you start taxing them more than what they think they should be taxed for, they aren't going to be in New York anymore.
That's what he wants.
I mean, look at California. They don't even have gas refineries over there. They're all pulling out because Mr. Newsom thinks it's a good idea not to be having there.
He doesn't want. I'm going to tell you what he wants. And this is where New York City made a mistake. New York City, they want to be all foreign people in there. They don't want natural people in there. They don't want, I'm saying foreign, meaning his type of people.
Yeah, well, I actually put in a post not too long ago about how many people lived in New York City, and he got 25% of the vote and still got voted in.
Dude, it was bought.
That was very bought.
Yeah,
I'm watching Brandon Herrera running down in Texas right now, and he came right out and said the same thing. He lost by 400 votes. He didn't have as much money as the guy that's been there before, and he says, even with as little money as I went in, it was like $1.1 million he went in at, and the other guy had like 4.5. He says, I only lost this election by 400 votes. This was back in 2022. So today he came out and he said, I'm going back in again, and I've already got a $1.1 million deal, but here's the deal. If you want to donate to me, every $5 you donate gets you another chance to go to SHOT Show with us. And I'm going to go promoting guns. He lives in Texas. So it's a natural thing for him anyway. But that governor or congressman or whatever he is, he's a congressman. He never voted for anything that was worthwhile for this country, ever. He always, nope, I'm not voting for that. Nope, I'm not voting for that. And Brandon Herrera says, well, I wasn't going to run again after the first time because I only lost by 400. I decided, you know what? This guy's likability is minus 58% right now. He says, I'm running again. He says, I don't care.
Yeah.
And he's already raised as much money as he started with last time he ran, and he's going to keep going. And I actually believe he'll win this time.
I don't want it to be that close, though.
Well, you know who Madani was running against, right?
Andrew Cuomo?
Yeah. You
don't want to be back in New York, dude.
Tell me, how can two Democrats run for the same position?
Well, one of them has to win the primary. And that's what Mamdani did, because nobody wanted Cuomo back. And that was the whole turnaround point of that one.
Okay, so why did he get to run against Madani or whatever the Yahoo's name is?
Yeah,
he
Mamdani
shouldn't have been able to.
Well, they can run the party thing all day long. And then whoever takes the primary has to go into the general election, which is the Democrats versus Republicans. The problem is that the Republican that they put out was no better than Mamdani.
Right.
So Mamdani won with like a standing ovation kind of thing. It's gonna be different this year with, I think, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. I don't see her winning. She's going up against Elise Stefanik. And
No,
I think
she backed out, I thought. And a businessman is running.
Well, I know Elisa's still in because I just got an email from her today on it.
Oh,
She's still in. But the thing with her being in is that, okay, well, she's going against Kathy Hochul on the same party line. There is a guy that's running, and he's running on the Republican ticket. He's actually a nice guy. I've actually talked to him on emails and stuff back and forth a couple times. I think he's got a really good chance because New York City doesn't want another Democrat running the thing now. But Mamdani just made it proven that Democrats are what's fucking up the state. Sorry for the language. We're not kid friendly here anyway.
no.
But Kathy Hochul's been doing it. Mamdani's doing it. And it happens, and it happens, and it happens. Well, you look back to when Giuliani was down there in New York City, and he did the broken windows thing. New York City got cleaned up quicker than shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And Hochul took over, and then you have Bill Blasio down there, and the city went to shit. Under Cuomo, it was bad in New York. Under Hochul, it was twice as bad in New York. And I really think New York itself, I know my area and probably yours too, we're ready for a Republican to take over the fucking state again because it's a necessary.
If you're not, my whole thing is, I know Hochul or whatever her name is, she's from Buffalo.
Yep.
You got to get somebody from the smaller areas.
Yeah, like Western New York.
Yeah.
I think that the guy that's running on the Republican ticket actually came from like Herkimer or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the better candidate myself because he's from the smaller town. He understands it. You're not looking at the big picture when you're sitting in the middle of a city.
Right.
You're looking at the big picture when you're sitting out in the middle of a cow field.
Yep.
Talk to the farmers. Talk to the local people. That guy and I we've emailed back and forth quite a few times. Because when he first started running, I was like, how do I get a hold of this guy? And I got a hold of him, and I'm like, okay, well, I like this guy. I think he's a really good candidate. I've offered to help him out, thinking, well, maybe I'm not doing nothing pretty much other than working for Walmart Spark. You want help on the campaign trail? I can help you on the campaign trail. I'm not afraid to go do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's right. We've been on. It's an hour, so let's call this one good.
All right.
All right. Everybody have a good night. Don't forget to like, subscribe, make a comment, and we'll see you all next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. I got to make this one go away because otherwise it's just going to be like